Can you cure IBS with diet alone? Stay tuned as we discuss if this is possible, because the answer is not as straightforward as you'd think. What's up and welcome to the video. I'm Dr. Daniel Ricciardi, gut health expert, licensed pharmacist, fitness enthusiast, creator of SIBO Shortcut, and the gut health supplement Bloat Blocker. Can something as simple as switching up your diet cure IBS? We'll take an in-depth look at this question as this video discusses number one, what is IBS? After covering this briefly, we're going to talk about number two, some situations where you may be able to cure IBS just with diet alone. And then number three, some situations where you probably cannot cure IBS with diet alone. And as a quick disclaimer, the information provided in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. First off, topic number one, what is IBS? Per the National Institute of Health, NIH, IBS is defined as a group of symptoms that occur together, including repeated pain in your abdomen and changes in your bowel movements, which may be diarrhea, constipation, or both. With IBS, you have these symptoms without any visible signs of damage or disease in your digestive tract. There's a lot of definitions online. Ultimately, they all sound kind of something like this. Bloating and abdominal discomfort are also commonly accepted IBS symptoms. A couple things to note about IBS. Covers a variety of different symptoms. These definitions don't say for sure why IBS happens. They don't show up on scans, MRIs, endoscopies, or colonoscopies. And then the definitions typically say that IBS has to be managed, but doesn't really get cured. Now that we have a clear idea of what IBS is, I'm going to briefly talk about my 6 steps to getting rid of digestive issues. I'm going to read them briefly here, starting with, we'll say step 0, do the obvious. If there's a food where you feel good all the rest of the time, but then when you eat this particular food or drink and you feel really bad, don't have that. It's baffling how many people probably wouldn't have IBS if they just cut out 1 or 2 things, but they just refuse to do it. And I'm not really sure the reason why. Besides that, I'm going to briefly mention these other 6 now, and we'll go into a little more detail later. Step number 1, opt for simple, whole, single ingredient foods. Step number 2, relax and de-stress before eating. Step number 3, adopt healthy eating practices. Again, we'll discuss this more a little bit later. Step number 4, consider digestive supplements. Step number 5, schedule your regular doctor's visits and go to them. And then lastly, step number 6 would be investigating other causes. All right, question number 2, some situations where you may be able to cure IBS with diet alone. I'll put these up on the screen here, but people that need to do step 0, which is removing the obvious food that's causing you problems, then eating a highly processed food diet. This is the biggest one that has caused the most issues for the most people I've talked to. Some other ones, consuming protein bars or powders regularly. These typically have a lot of extra additives that aren't going to be good. Eating gluten and dairy from poor, non-quality sources. Having a food sensitivity, you would have to test for these. Consuming alcohol, eating while working, eating really fast, being chronically stressed, not chewing your food enough. Most people think they're doing this, but they actually aren't. If your IBS is ultimately due to one of these reasons that I just mentioned, you may be able to cure it just with diet alone using the first 3 steps that I laid out previously. Step number 1 was choosing simple, single ingredient whole foods. They're usually gentler on your digestive system, less likely to cause inflammation, and less likely to activate your immune system, leading to inflammation and leaky gut. Please try and do this if you haven't already. It's so simple to do. It makes the biggest impact of probably anything I'll say in this video. There's a ton of foods that are out there parading as health foods, but they actually aren't. For example, I'll use protein bars and protein drinks. Back when I was 18 or 19 years old, so this is probably 2006 or 2007, I was starting to use protein powder because I was beginning to work out. I used to buy it from the supplement store, so I think I walked into the store and I probably told the guy there that was working that I wanted to start working out and get jacked or something along those lines. And I said, what protein powder should I buy? And he told me that the Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey was the best one. If you lift weights and taking protein powders, you probably are familiar with this product. And he said it was really good and had 25 grams of protein per serving, which for me sounded great because the amount of protein in the supplement is the only thing that really mattered, right? Well, these protein supplements and a lot of other protein supplements, another one that I took was muscle milk. While a lot of them are high in protein, they're also stuffed with these gums fillers, thickeners, artificial ingredients, artificial sweeteners, and a ton of other things that just wreak havoc on your digestion. And I certainly suffered the consequences from these. Step number 2 is relax before eating. Avoiding stress while eating and getting your body into a better, calmer nervous system state is great for digestion. Back when I used to work in the retail pharmacies, I used to chug smoothies right in the middle of my workday as I was busy answering the phone, filling prescriptions, and helping customers. It was really stressful, and while my body was focusing on working and doing these other stressful things, the last thing it was probably focusing on was digesting that big smoothie that I just drank. Step number 3, adopt healthy eating practices. So I'm talking about chewing your food really thoroughly, not drinking a ton of liquid during meals, not overeating. This ensures that the stomach acid that your body's producing can work effectively. There's nothing wrong with going out and having a dinner and some drinks with it, but if you do have digestive issues, this may be a big area of opportunity for you. The more liquid you drink, the more it dilutes your stomach acid, making it less potent and able to digest food properly. So that giant glass of water that they serve with you with your meal, I certainly don't like being a wasteful person, but you can just leave that water sitting on the table and not finish it. So those were some situations where you can potentially cure IBS just with diet and eating habits. Now moving ahead, some situations where it may not be possible to actually cure IBS with diet alone. So for the people who've tried this stuff in the first 3 steps without luck, some examples of these include thyroid problems, hormone issues such as cortisol being either low or high, being perimenopausal or menopausal, medication use such as antacids, antibiotics, NSAIDs, oral contraceptive, SSRIs, corticosteroids, having a gut dysbiosis, something just off in the bacterial levels in your digestive tract, having an infection such as SIBO, candida, or parasites, having impaired gut motility, leaky gut, or even food intolerances or sensitivities. Earlier, I mentioned the 3 first steps to try if you're having digestive issues. If those did not fix your issue, the reason may be one of these other conditions or situations that I just mentioned. And now I'm going to share steps 4, 5, and 6 on what to do next. So step 4 would be consider using digestive supplements. Sometimes these are enough and no other actions needed to be taken. Things like butane HCl, apple cider vinegar, digestive enzymes, ox bile, digestive bitters. And if you've tried all these, one additional option to try for IBS symptoms is my own personal gut health supplement, bloat blocker. It's different because it's meant to work quickly for bloating and IBS symptoms, while at the same time hasn't shown to have the same side effects as a lot of the other digestive supplements. To learn more and shop, click the button down here on the screen or go to blueorchardwellness.com. Continuing with situations where you may not be able to resolve IBS with diet alone, with step number 5, just scheduling and going to your regular doctor's visits. They'll check for certain things such as thyroid issues, whether it be low or high, hormone issues, diabetes, or even evaluating your medications. And sometimes getting these sort of things squared away can help you resolve IBS. And then lastly, step number 6, investigating other potential root causes. This is typically done by doing other lab testing such as a functional stool test or a SIBO breath test. This will help check for things such as SIBO, candida, parasites, and then a food sensitivity test may be an additional option, as some people do have true food sensitivities, and in the case of a true food sensitivity, removing that food long-term would be your best option. Hopefully this was helpful in shedding some light on some things that cause IBS and answering the question, can you resolve IBS with diet alone? My ask is that you take a hard look at your diet and evaluate it. Be honest with yourself, pay attention to how you feel after you eat. Look at the ingredient labels and know what you are consuming. And sometimes it's necessary to make that tough decision to give up something that you really enjoy eating, but you know is not agreeing with you. That is all for today. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel for more related content. Let me know in the comments if you've had IBS and what's been helpful for you and what's been not helpful for you. Since you watched till the end, I think you're going to enjoy one of these 2 videos next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.